get started in child's pose. A block might be useful for today's practice, so having that or something to raise the floor for your practice might be useful. Let's start in child's pose, big toes touching, knees gently apart, the chest can melt between the thighs. And if the head feels very far from the earth, you might put a block or stack fist on top of fist underneath the third eye. Begin to notice the breath here. The filling, the emptying. The expansion in the back ribs. The lengthening through the side waist. Let your focus land on your breath. If you practice Ujjayi breathing, it's a slight constriction at the back of the throat. The same muscles that if you were trying to fog up a mirror or a window. Those muscles constrict as the breath whispers across the back of the throat, in and out. Making an oceanic sound. Allowing the mind to land a little more deeply on that breath using our sense of hearing as well as our sense of touch, feeling the breath. Begin to rock the hips gently from side to side. The third eye might massage against the mat. And slowly crawl forward and land on your belly. You can make a pillow with the hands under the forehead. And just wiggle the hips from side to side. Bend the knees, soles of the feet up towards the sky, and windshield wipe them from side to side. Let's make some circles with the legs up towards the sky, kind of like an egg beater. Move in another direction, opposite rotation. Keep the right knee bent, extend the left leg long. Walk the right knee out towards the right side so that the knee lines up with the hip. And then lower the shin towards the earth. If this feels very extreme, you can lower the knee down closer towards the left foot. If you're not feeling much at all, you can hike it up higher towards the waist. And the shin can be parallel to the side of the mat. Invite the inner groin to soften. The outer hip. Breathing deeply in and out through the nose. If you haven't already begun to cultivate the breath in and out through the nose. Extend the right leg back. Bend the left knee, walk the knee out to the left, in line with the hip, higher or lower depending on the tightness of the groin and hip. And
And then see if you can invite the inner groin, outer hip to soften more, to surrender to the stretch. And your focus continues to land on the breath and the sensation of the body in this shape. Breathing deeply into the belly. Extend the left leg back to meet the right. Bend both knees. Windshield wipe. Shin side to side. Egg beaters. Making circles. Other direction. Extend the legs back. Walk the elbows underneath the shoulders, coming into Sphinx pose. We're stretching the front of the body here. Press into the forearms. Imagine you could scrub them back towards the feet as you zip belly to spine, pressing the pelvis towards the earth. Shoulder blades roll towards the center of the heart, pressing from the back body to front body. Keep the neck nice and long so we're not crunching the neck backwards. We're keeping the spine nice and long as we breathe here. And then tuck the toes, belly to spine. Hug the elbows towards the midline, so they probably are hanging out more towards the edges of the mat. Squeeze them in. Press down into the forearms, zip belly, and then begin to lift the hips, coming into forearm plank. Keep hugging the elbows in. Breathing here. And then like a little saw, moving forward and back, pressing the crown of the head forward as you come up onto the toes and press back through the heels. You can interlace fingers here or lower knees. Just another 10 seconds. Let the heat build. And lower the knees. Sink the hips back. Seed pose, so the knees are together for this one as you fold in. And then reach back, grab a hold of the heels. Let the shoulders fall forward towards the earth. Coming into a tiny little ball. And then belly to spine, press into the knees. Float up to kneeling, sweep the arms up, cactus them out. Pressing the heart forward. On the next exhale, come back into seed pose, getting small again. Press into the legs, come up, inhale, cactus the arms out, press the heart forward. Exhale, get small, curl in, hold heels. Press into the shins, inhale, float the arms, cactus them out, get big. Exhale, get small. Twice more, inhale, getting big, getting wide, proud with the heart. Exhale, bringing it towards the earth. Last one, inhale, big. And this time, exhale, hands and knees. Hands line up under shoulders, knees under hips. And begin to take the hips in circles. Moving in whichever rotation was calling out to you. And then take it the other direction. You might hear some clicks through the hips. That's all right, as long as it's not creating pain. And then tabletop. Roll the shoulders out. And I certainly hear some clicks here. And then back to neutral tabletop. Index fingers are at least parallel, perhaps slightly flared out. Pressing into the inner edge of the hand to begin with. So getting really heavy on thumb and index finger to start. And then allowing that to begin to move out towards each base knuckle and through every single knuckle of every finger. Trying to avoid hanging in the heel of the hand on the pinky edge side. There's not a very strong joint there. It's not a true joint. Step the right foot back. Keep the scoop of the elbows as you root down through the inner edge of the hand. And then step the left foot back, full plank. Belly to spine, tailbone to heels, crown of the head long. Elbows continue to scoop in with a soft little bend there. And then draw the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing here, focus on the breath. The eyes might be closed or the gaze can be towards the middle of the mat or back towards the big toes, or drishti. Try to choose one place to gaze and let the eyes land. You might bend the right knee as you stretch the left leg, switching sides, back through center. Come high onto both toes and press the heels towards the earth. Keep the scoop of the elbows. Float forward through plank. Notice how the drishti moves towards the front of the mat. And then back to down dog. The drishti lands between the feet or at the mid-mat. Inhale, float forward. Changing your gaze as you exhale, lift the hips up and back. Keep moving. You might begin to take these a little bit faster, or you may keep it slow, intentional. And then land in downward facing dog. Walk the hands to the feet. Notice the gaze, hold it in one place as you move through space. And then let the head hang. The gaze is between the legs now. If there's a wall behind you, you're looking there. Choose one place to focus the eyes. Grab a hold of either elbow. Little sway side to side. Release the arms. Inhale, lift the heart halfway. Gaze moves forward. Exhale, fold in. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Gaze up towards the hands. Hands come to heart center, Tadasana. Release the hands beside you, palms face forward. Take your gaze to the top of the mat and just hold it in one place. Use your body awareness to situate here. So the edges of the feet are parallel. You don't even have to look at them. You can begin to feel that in your body. Soft bend to the knees and feel the inner thighs spiral back. Feel the belly pull up and in as the tailbone drops down. Frontal hip points are lifting. The front ribs hug towards the back body. As the collarbone spreads wide, the shoulder blades go down the back, the palms face forward. And now begin to lift the gaze towards the horizon. And then maybe up towards the sky, keeping the neck long on all four sides. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, fold forward from the hips. Heart lifts, inhale. Exhale, walk the hands to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg, inhale. Exhale, step it through to the hands. Walk it over to the right, lower the back, knee down, uncurl the toes. Float the arms up for our low lunge. Gaze can be up towards the sky or maybe out towards the horizon. Belly is pulling up and in. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth, pull the hips back, straighten into the front leg. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. The hips are pulling evenly back. They're equidistant from the front of the mat. The outer hips are hugging, so the left hip is hugged over the left knee. We breathe more space into the hamstrings. Rebend the front knee. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold back in, pulling the hips back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Keep moving with your breath. Next time we land with the knee bent, stay here. Leave the left hand to the earth, maybe on a block, and reach the right arm up towards the sky. Widen through the collarbone. Let the shoulders move away from the ears. One more breath in. Exhale, hand to the earth. Tuck the back toes, straighten the leg. Step forward to the top of the mat. Heart lifts, halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold in. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, cactus them out. Press the heart up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Heart lifts, inhale. Plant the hands, step back through plank. Hold plank. Knees can be lifted or lowered. Core is engaged wherever we are. And begin to press the shoulders forward, peek out over the edge of the mat. Lower down halfway, elbows bend. All the way to the earth, landing on our bellies once more. Hands are beside the floating ribs, wrists lining up underneath the elbows. Tops of the feet press, pelvis to the earth, belly to spine. Begin to roll forward and up, cobra. Exhale, lower back towards the earth. Walk the hands out beside the shoulders and wider than the mat. Tent up onto the fingertips. Keep pressing pelvis to the earth and zipping belly to spine. Inhale, undulate up. Exhale, surrender down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Dip the right shoulder towards the earth. Inhale back through center. Take it to the left side. Once more each side. Inhale, lift. Right side dips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left side dips. Back through center. And down onto the earth. Walk the hands back beside the chest. Press tops of the feet. Inhale, cobra. This time, tuck the toes, lift the hips using the core up and back. Downward facing dog. Left leg, sweep it up and back. Exhale, step the foot through to the hands. Make sure it's wide enough over to the left. Lower the right knee to the earth, uncurl the toes. Float the arms. Lifting from the low belly, tailbone surrendering to the earth. The outer hips hug. The gaze is up. As you root down into the left heel, imagine it scrubbing back towards the back of the mat. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth. Right hand stays down, left arm up towards the sky. Watch that right shoulder. I'm going to exaggerate here. Here it's crowding my ear. I'm going to roll it away so I get more space through the collarbone. Maybe the gaze is lifted towards the sky or just directly out. Wherever it is, it lands on one spot. We're working our focus today. One more inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. Gaze towards the front of the mat. Pull the hips back. The toes could float. Hands can be on blocks here. Right hip hugs in. We breathe into the left hamstrings. On the next inhale, bend into the front knee, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold back in, gaze towards the front of the mat. Keep moving with your breath. Inhaling, lifting the gaze. Choose one place to focus on. Exhale, land on it each time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold in. This time, lift, hold, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, straighten the leg. Step back through plank, lower through vinyasa, into downward facing dog. The hands root to the earth, the gaze lands in its point of focus. Soft bend to the knees. As the side waist grows long, the hips pull back. The focus on the breath. Begin to notice where the focus drifts towards when it moves away from the practice. What is our tendency? Inhale high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Step or hop, feet towards hands. Lift halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold in. Plant into the feet to sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sweep the arms, inhale. Cactus them out, exhale. Inhale, reach up through the fingertips. And exhale, fold in. Heart lifting, inhale. Plant the hands, step back. Plank vinyasa or straight into downward facing dog. If the vinyasas start to be building too much heat, please skip them. Inhale, right leg lifting. Bend the knee, open the hip. Stacking hip on hip. Try to keep the chest square to the earth. Come high onto the left toes. And then press the left heel down. Extend the right leg long. Square the hips off. Belly to spine. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, leg up and back. Exhale, step the foot through to the hands. Stay high on the back toes. Walk the right foot to the right. Outer hips hug. Begin to peel the chest up. Crown of the head reaching forward. Palms face the earth. Then bend the back knee and float all the way up. Crescent warrior. Point of focus lands. Outer hips are hugging. Front heel roots down and pulls back. One more breath in. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step back, choose a vinyasa or choose to skip it. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, bend the knee, open the hip. Keep rooting into the hands, especially the inner edge of the hand. Come high onto the right toes. Press the heel towards the earth. Extend the left leg long. Square the hips off. Belly to spine, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, step the foot through to the hands. Stay high on the back toes. Outer left hip, hug it in. Come onto fingertips. Belly to spine. Float the hands. Float the chest just over the front thigh. Soft bend to the back knee as we upright the torso. The arms float. Moving that front knee towards 90. Frontal hip points keep lifting. Gaze maybe lifts. Shoulders away from ears. Left heel presses down and scrubs back, allowing the pelvis to lift upright. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth. Choose a vinyasa or go straight into downward facing dog. We all meet in down dog for 3 rounds of breath. Where is the mind? Do we have a tendency to focus on future happenings or past experiences? Can we rest in the present moment with our breath, with our drishti? Inhale high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, looking forward, step or hop, feet towards hands. Inhale, the heart lifts. Exhale, fold in. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Draw the hands to heart center. Sink the hips, Utkatasana, chair pose. And then exhale, fold forward over the legs. Heart lifts on the inhale. Plant the hands, step back through plank, vinyasa if you choose it, or straight into downward facing dog. Breathing here, right leg lifts, inhale. Step the foot forward to the hands. Stay high on the back toes, inhale, arrive into crescent warrior, then drop the hands onto our hips. Press into the ball of the right foot, move that front leg to straight. Try to keep the frontal hip points pointing forward as you swivel the back heel down. So probably the left hip swung open some. Can you adjust that by pulling the right hip back and rolling the left hip forward, pressing more into the back foot. Inner arch lifting, strong back leg. The inner thigh of the left leg is rolling towards the back of the mat as the outer hip rolls forward. And then we'll begin to bend into the front knee. Try to keep those frontal hip points lifted. It's moving towards 90. If it feels like 90 is way far away, maybe the legs are too far apart from one another, and you might scoot that front foot in a little bit. So keep pulling the low belly up and in. Keep hugging the outer hips. And then float the arms. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, maybe the gaze can go up. As you feel yourself rooting towards the earth with the feet, can you get a sense of buoyancy through the side waist up to the fingertips? Strong legs, strong focus, strong breath. Developing this strong relationship to self, to body. One more breath in. And exhale, hands to the earth. Step back, plank, vinyasa, or down dog. Lift the left leg, inhale. Exhale, step the foot to the hands. Stay on the back toes, arrive into crescent warrior. We're just moving through it, hands to hips. Begin to straighten into the front leg. A little bit of balance here. Choosing a drishti is very helpful. Keep a soft bend in the front knee and then swivel the back heel down. So it's heel to heel alignment, perhaps a little bit wider. I like a little bit wider because then my hips have more ease pointing forward. Right hip rolls forward, left hip is pulling back like headlights on a car, shining forward. Strong back leg. So instead of hanging on the inner arch, we're lifting the inner arch. We're rolling the inner thigh back. Belly up and in. And then slowly we're bending into that front knee towards 90, trying to keep the hip points lifted. High bow. Give the dog a pat. And float the arms up. Virabhadrasana 1. If the shoulders are crowding the ears, surrender them down the back, scoop the elbows more to lift the heart. Keep that back leg nice and engaged, like a strong column you're leaning against. We're up, front heel roots down as the hip pulls back. One more inhale. And exhale, hands to the earth. Step back, plank, choose a vinyasa, or go straight into downward facing dog. We're in down dog for 4 or so rounds of breath. You're welcome to take child's pose or seed pose. Inhale high onto the toes. Exhale, send the heels back towards the earth. One more round of breath to make your way to down dog if you're in child or seed. Inhale high onto the toes from dog pose. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, feet to hands. Heart lifting on the inhale. Fold in on the exhale. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Sink the hips, Utkatasana. We're gonna hold here and breathe for a little while. I like to tell people that so that they can prepare themselves. Chair pose is not my favorite pose. I imagine it's not many people's favorite pose. Press into the heels, pull them away from one another as the outer hips engage. The belly is pulling up and in, and the tailbone is rooting towards the earth. Cactus the arms out. Press the heart forward and up. Try and sink a little bit lower. Whew, it's hard. It ain't easy. What else? What happens to the focus when things are hard? Does the mind try to travel somewhere outside of you? What happens if you stay inside? It builds. Press into the feet, come up to standing, reach the arms. Fold from the hips. We're going to stay in this forward fold for a moment. Really let the head release. How does that feel after the effort of that chair pose? We want to be able to focus on all of the sensations in our body. The ones that are delicious and the ones that are difficult. They're all just sensation. We don't have to avoid any of them. We are strong, capable human beings that can have the whole rainbow of the human experience. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Plant the hands, step back through plank, choose vinyasa or skip it. Vinyasas should be really clean if we're using them still. Right leg lifts. Step the foot to the hands. Swivel onto the back heel. Have your blocks close by if you're using them today. Come up, Virabhadrasana 1. Come on to the back toes, back through crescent warrior, hands to heart. You're going to lean forward over the front leg. Outer hip hugs. Start pressing more weight into that front leg. Hands can come onto blocks here. Begin to float to the back leg, to the height of the hip. Virabhadrasana 3, warrior 3. Zip the front belly up and in. Frontal hip points lifting. Maybe the hands can float back or out to the side. If you have space in front of you, they can float forward. Begin to shift the torso up through standing. Don't step the left foot down if you can avoid it. Hug the knee up towards the chest. Keep the left foot flexed. Float the arms up. Take the gaze up, playing with balance. Drop the right hand onto the left knee. Reach the left hand back. Get your balance, and then maybe you move your gaze towards the left side. It's a challenge, but we explore the challenges and we laugh it off when it doesn't go according to plan. Float the arms up. Release the foot down. Try not to shake it out. Just notice the difference from side to side. Sink the hips, Utkatasana. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Heart lifts, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Plant the hands, step back, Vinyasa. Warrior three really works our core. Left leg lifts, inhale. And our legs, step it through, exhale. Swivel the back heel down. Arrive into warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Hands to heart, come into crescent warrior. You come onto the back toes. And begin to lean forward. Keep the lift of the frontal hip points. Keep hugging that left hip in. As you shift weight, the right foot gets light. You can keep a bend in the left knee. Keep pulling belly to spine. The outer right hip, it's rolling towards the earth, just like in Vira 1. Float the arms back, maybe out to the side or forward if you have the space. Choosing one point of focus is very helpful here. Also having a wall next to you. I'm cheating. Or hands on blocks, of course. Begin to tilt forward and up. Let the leg, whoop, I cheated. I'll always tell on myself. Knee comes towards chest. Outer hips hug. Try and get the hips even from the earth instead of that right hip hiking up. You want them to be nice and equidistant. Float the arms. Maybe the gaze. Keep the belly pulling up and in. Keep your gaze on one point. Left hand onto right knee. Right hand, reach it back. And then maybe, woo, I went too quickly. Maybe you shift the gaze, or maybe it stays on your one point of focus. We're just playing. Playful attitude is really useful here. All right, let's come back through center. Nice and slow, lift the arms. Release the foot down. Sink the hips, Utkatasana. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Heart lifts, Ardha Uttanasana. Plant the hands, step back through a Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. The breath moves in, the breath moves out. One last little bit of play. Right leg lifts. Really playful here. Step the foot through to the hands. Warrior one. Hands to heart center. Crescent warrior. We'll start with a twist. Elbow to knee or hand to earth. And then we'll come back through center. Certainly if there are blocks, please, please, please utilize them. Come through warrior three. And then we're going to take it into a twisted crescent. Left hand stays under left shoulder. Right arm reaches up. Whew, it's a hard one. And then release. Hands to the earth. Both feet on the floor. Forward fold. Say, ah, thank goodness. Deep breath in, heavy sigh out. We only have two sides. Praise be. Inhale, heart lifts. Plant the hands, step back, Vinyasa or down dog. I think down dog is plenty for me right now. Left leg lifted up and back. Step it forward to the hands, swivel the back heel down, set your block up. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1 to Crescent Warrior. Crescent Warrior, to a twisted lunge. Hand can be on a block on the inside of the foot, or elbow hooks the outside of the left knee, strong back leg. Back through this folded crescent, and then into warrior three. Hand on block, really useful here. Right hand under right shoulder. You can have your left hand on the small of the back as you twist the chest so that you can see that the hips are even. And maybe the arm floats. One more breath in. Exhale, fold in. Release the feet, move the block aside. You can bend one knee at a time, wiggle out the hips. Let the head hang and sway. Heart lifts, inhale. And fold in, exhale. Bend the knees, hands to the earth. Find your seat. Ooh, soles of the feet together. So the soles of the feet together can either be farther away, or you might scoot them closer into the groin. It's just different. They just feel different. It's different stretches. Lift the heart. And begin to fold in whichever one you choose. And you could crawl your hands forward, dipping the heart forward. If folding in isn't happening today, you can also just have your hands behind your hips and lift the heart. Uprighting the pelvis here. Maybe the eyes could close here as we cool it all down. So the focus turns inward, inward, inward. Hear the breath in your body. Notice when the mind wanders, when it's trying to fix or adjust something in the outside world. Planning or imagining a past experience could have gone differently. What happens when we allow our focus to rest in trust? Trusting our experience, trusting ourselves, trusting our own abilities. You're batting 1,000 for figuring it out. That's what I like to say. It's what I like to remind myself of too. When anxiety and worry creep up. That reminder of, I've always figured it out. Whatever it is. Whatever has been difficult in life. Whatever has been uncomfortable. I've always been able to have the experience and find something useful from it. And so we can rest in that space of trust. We can let our focus land there. Slowly come out of the pose. Extend the legs forward. Windshield wipe the feet from side to side. The calves, the hips, they all move together, the thighs. Flex the toes, lift the seat out from underneath your sit bones. Float the arms, inhale. Get long through the side waist. Then fold over the legs. Hands can land on shins, maybe ankles or feet. Wherever they land, let that be enough. Without jamming into anything, maybe just holding the pose and breathing the breath invites a millimeter more of space. Maybe it's even less. Maybe the space that's created is in the mind. knee, sole of the foot to the earth. Sit bones stay down on the earth. Left arm reaches up. Twist over towards the right. Grab a hold of the shin. And twist. Let the shoulders roll away from the ears. Let the neck grow long. You might gaze out over the right shoulder. Let your drishti land. Let your point of focus. Choose one spot and let it be enough. Inhale long. Exhale, unwind. Extend the leg forward. Bending the left knee in. Floating the right arm up. Exhale, twist. Take the left hand behind leg, extend. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Strong right leg engaged in front of you. And you might take the gaze back over the left shoulder. Take a long inhale. Feel the length through the spine. Exhale, unwind. Scoot down towards the edge, the front of your mat so that the feet are slightly off the mat. Belly to spine. Arms reach in front of you. Keep the core engaged as you slowly roll the spine down. One vertebrae at a time. Let the body land. Walk the feet in. Hips distance parallel. Let's start by flattening the lumbar curve. So the lowest curve of the spine, press it flat against the earth. That lifts the frontal hip points towards the front ribs. The belly pulls up and in. Press into the heels. Keep this engagement of the core as we lift the hips. And then the tailbone is pointing towards the backs of the knees. And we're trying to keep the glutes from taking over the pose, from clenching too much. Roll the right shoulder under, roll the left shoulder under. You can clasp hands under the tush or hold onto the edges of the mat. Feel the breath move through the body. Release whatever hold you have of the hands. Lower the hips to the earth. Pause. Keep the feet where they are. Let the lumbar curves, or the lumbar spine curve naturally. And then pull belly to spine. Flatten the lumbar against the earth once more. Belly keeps pulling up and in as you press into the heels. The hips lift. Coming back into your back bend, interlacing hands or holding edges of the mat. Press the heart up towards the sky. There's a gentle lift of the chin. Sense your breath in your body. Release whatever hold you have of hands. Lower the hips down. This time walking the feet wide, knock the knees together. Sway from side to side with the knees, windshield wipe. Let them stay over towards the right the next time they get there, and maybe you can have the right ankle over the left knee. You can reach the left arm out and gaze over it. Keep the right ankle on the left knee. Point the left knee up towards the sky, bringing the sole of the foot to the earth, figure 4. Keep the right foot flexed, come into reclined pigeon. Hands can hold the shin or hamstring of the left leg. Release this side. Take the feet wide, knees together. Let the knees fall over to the left. Left ankle on top of right knee if that feels all right in your body. And then the right arm could reach out and you could gaze towards the right thumb. Keeping your point of focus, your drishti, steady. What happens when we keep our focus steady? Internally, externally. And then begin to bring the right knee towards the sky, the sole of the foot to the earth. The drishti can be towards the ceiling. Keep the left toes flexed as you come into reclined pigeon. Feel the shape that the body makes right here. Release this side, hugging both knees in. Extend both legs up towards the sky. Knees can be bent, feet can be flexed. You can hold behind the thighs if that feels supportive and useful. And then bend the knees, have a happy baby. Hands can be behind the hamstrings, on the shins or edges of the feet, depending on flexibility. Breathing deeply into the belly. Release the legs, extend them out in front of you. Set yourself up for Shavasana. Arms can fold out towards the sides. Eyes could gently close. Take a deep breath in. Hold at the top. And then sigh the breath out. Land here in your Shavasana, taking rest, a well-earned rest.
Begin to deepen the breath here. Inviting small movements through the fingers and the toes back into the body. Hug the knees into the chest. Make your way into a comfortable seat. Maybe the eyes can stay closed for this last little bit. Where would you like to direct your focus today? What serves you? Bring the palms together at the heart center. Lift the heart and bow the head. Taking the practice with you off the mat, out into the world. Shanti, peace.